Jeff, it's great to have you up here. People may not be familiar with Knockaround, and you're the CEO, so I want to share a bit about it and what makes it different.
Yeah, so Knockaround is and I'm not the founder. I appreciate that that promotion, but Knockaround was founded in San Diego by Ace Moyer 19 years ago. We refer to it as our 19-year overnight success. And my team acquired 51% of the company a little over 2 years ago. And I was put in a great position to become CEO. Knockaround itself, it's simple. High quality sunglasses at affordable prices. And the growth is just taken off. And that's whether it's fashion frames, now prescription, whether it's a lot of our licensed business that we'll talk about, that is just paramount to who we are.
That's great. You mentioned the licensing business. A lot of the times the customers that you're acquiring may not know that they're buying Knockaround when they first interact with the brand for the first time. So how are you generating that familiarity and ultimately loyalty once they come to know that they're wearing a pair of Knockaround shades or goggles?
So, I mean, look, this is a sports marketing summit. And we talk about, I was CMO at Dick's Sporting Goods for a long time. I was trying to work through different ways, and that was back in the wonderful days when you could have the creepy factor, when we knew everything about people before these notions of privacy. But we have deals with a number of partners. We are here because, and we'll talk about the NFL, but NFL, Major League Baseball, the NHL, the NBA will come in the fall. And what happens is it's really a new customer acquisition strategy because the idea of privacy, and it's so hard. If we can get people who say, wow, I'm going to take some amazing sunglasses for the Steelers, for example, and they buy them, you're right, they may not know that they're buying Knockaround, but like anybody, once you come in and you buy on our site, yeah, we know it. Now that privacy wall is gone, and we can market directly to you. And that's really become why we do it. We're not a licensed company, but the licensed operations, and for example, everybody's familiar with, especially these days, with Bob Marley. We've come out with a pair that talk about new customer acquisition when the Marley family talks about you on Instagram to their 8.5 million followers. It has an impact on your site. And so things like this are just really important to kind of who we are in the future and how we're handling marketing.
That makes sense. I noticed you dropped a little Steelers name drop in there. We should start every session here with the NFL allegiances. So just want to make sure we're on the record that you're a Steelers fan, but you have a plan B ever.
So, I mean, the challenge is I grew up in San Francisco, which is an amazing thing. I moved to Pittsburgh many, many years ago, and I tried so hard to stay a 49ers fan in Pittsburgh, and it is just not allowed. I mean, you can try, and there was a point where it looked like the 49ers and the Steelers were going to the Super Bowl, and it was just going to be like, I just can't. And so I caved, and my kids were born, raised, and have moved on from Pittsburgh. And so I'm happy for the 49ers, love it, but I've become a diehard Steelers fan.
That's great. And Bess, I see you there, a Chicago fan. I'm a Packers fan, so we can have to chat later. I just gotta go. I'm on stage, you gotta go on the record.
Yeah, you both can buy sunglasses for your team. So there you go.
Okay, I want to talk about the number 30, not a jersey number, although there's someone wearing number 30 in the big game on Sunday. 30 years, you were in the corporate side of things. You mentioned Dick's Sporting Goods, and now you're doing what you're doing with Knockaround with only 30 headcount, with only 30 people. So maybe can you talk about that transition from corporate life into this 17-year-old overnight success kind of startup scale? But
it's bliss. I mean, going from the bureaucracy of large multi-billion-dollar companies to where we're sitting now, and I have some of our team with us here that have really been the architects of how that's worked. That's a big piece. And the thing is, we use speed as a competitive advantage. We somehow can find the way to do 5 or 6 major programs at once with the same people. It's exhausting, and it means you live on airplanes, but it's just one of those things that when you eliminate corporate committees and decision making, and you replace, I'm going to take a little more risk and I'm going to go fast. Our competition, before they even woke up, we had all 4 major sports leagues, plus US Soccer, plus Bob Marley, plus we have deals with Paramount, Warner Brothers, just keep working down the path. But we had all 4 sports leagues locked up before they even recognized what was going on. And that takes the ability to take risk. And in the corporate world, I found that most of my time in the C-suite at very large corporate, all you cared about was not making mistakes and being risk averse. And so changing that up and having a small group of amazing people, whether it's our team, whether it's our agency partners, everybody's just off to the races.
That sounds great. I'm thinking of going forward on 4th down, no huddle offense metaphors there. But.
Oh yeah, we do that a lot. And we're like, just screw it, hit send. And when it hits, it's great. And I remember, and I spent 10 years at Dick's during the kind of the crazy growth period, and was part of the team that took it public, and it was there from 500 million to 5 billion in sales. And somebody once asked me how you could be successful, and I said you just have to be right 51% of the time, because you still have to be risk averse. Here, our team is empowered to just go and make things happen, and it has changed the whole landscape of our retail partners and everything that's going on. But it's been great, and one of the things about we've just launched this new line of sunglasses made for golf, but we view things differently. Some folks think of golf as you're going to go after the top 3 or 4, you need to figure out how that. We've taken the opposite. We're going after the personalities. So Joel Damon, as a lot of people got introduced to in Netflix's Full Swing. Season 2 comes out March 6th. He's got a prominent role in that one again. We also haven't announced it completely, but Harry Higgs has also signed on as a Knockaround player. And then the other place that we've gone is with caddies. We have a ton of the caddies that you'll see as this year progresses. And it's about having fun, and that's what our brand stands for. And yet at the same point, we will put up these glasses that Joel has been wearing since we met him at the US Open last summer, and he helped us design them. I'll put those up against any pair, and I'm not talking about any affordable pair. I would put them up against any pair, $200, $300, $400, because the lenses are better. We happen to know that because everybody's glasses are made in the same factories in China, but we don't lose the quality. And so the thing that we as a team learned a long time ago is it all comes down to having a quality product, and then it will go from there. And if you try and play games with the customer, then you won't see the repeat rates. Our repeat rates and LTVs are phenomenal. And some of it is because of the price point. And people lose them, or we have collectors. We come out with limited editions. We did one for $420 about 1.5 years to almost 2 years ago now. We sold 1,200 pairs in 90 minutes, and the first hour was only for our loyalty members. So there are people out there, and now they can find them throughout stores, which has really changed the game for us as well.
That's great. Yeah, maybe the 420 people misplaced their sunglasses from time to time.
That's awesome. You keep buying.
Okay. You mentioned a bit about distribution. Can you talk about the evolution from D2C to retail and like the role of wholesale as well in that?
Yeah, so it's really important, and I've been doing e-commerce in some form for the last 20 years. E-commerce is amazing. It's still the minority share of retail in this country. Our team, prior to me joining, started a partnership with REI. We are now, last year we became their #1 sunglasses brand, 47% growth at REI. We started in Academy with 20 doors, went to 100 a few months later, doubled. Dick's started with 100 last year, it's gone doubled, and now they're going to put the licensed glasses in 150 doors. That ability to grow, which also means international growth, is something that is truly changing, because what happens is, with our glasses, there is a noticeable touch and feel quality difference. And that is something that's hard to explain on a website. But if you go into any REI store, for example, and you pull them off the rack, most people say, these can't be $40 or $45. And so that has really propelled the growth, which again gets people into our ecosystem, because they come to the site to see what else we have, since any retailer only has a handful. And then we've probably got another 500 specialty doors around the US. And it's all about brand awareness for us, because we're still working with a smaller, we sold well over 1 million pairs of sunglasses last year, which is tiny in the market. And so it's all about brand awareness. That's why we're launching here with our partnership with the NFL, we're launching a limited edition Super Bowl pair, which anybody who's in sports marketing, the most impressive thing for me was the fact that we were able to use the word Super Bowl. And we have them on the glasses, we have them, and they're blanketed throughout the city this week. But it's things like that that really kind of propel us forward.
That makes total sense. Speaking of that brand awareness and of the partnerships and the licensing, maybe just touch on the role of celebrity in your rapid growth. So
there's celebrities, we get these pictures all the time where they show up and they wear it. People like Matthew McConaughey and John Mayer, or the one we've done Shark Week for about 9 years. Snoop loves our Shark Week glasses. We don't know how he gets them. We don't know what happens, but like he had a recent video that he launched, and he was wearing our Shark Week glasses from 2 years ago that sold out. And so it propels it. It's tougher now because everybody assumes you pay for those placements, which we don't. But it's networking, and some of it is just these random things show up. The Today Show did a feature on our glasses on this amazing brand being affordable. We don't know how they got it. They didn't call us for comment. They didn't call, which again, there are a lot of people, like we've talked about, there are a lot of big brands, and I used to run a couple of them, that are paying a lot of money to activate in a place like Vegas for the Super Bowl. Ours is about the product. It's how do you seed it out there, how do you get it moving, and where do you go from there?
That makes sense. Someone pointed out that Snoop got it from the 420. I was thinking the same thing, so I was going to say it on the mic. Thank you so much for spending the time with us. We're heading into lunch, and then we've got a lot of football action after lunch with the NFL on stage. But thanks so much for taking the time, and have a look for the Knockaround shades. But
before we do that, I'm sure some of you may have questions, and I think the rule is like the first 2 people that have questions might get a pair of these shades. Are there any questions? If not, I'll wear all 3 myself.
This is a softball, but I think it's a good one. What is the absolute favorite part about your role?
It's the team. I mean, the team is a combination of people that have been hired since we acquired the brand, and people that have been responsible for why it is what it is today, and that's it. And then from there, it's the reaction of customers. We spend a lot of time on the road at events, music festivals, and sporting events, and God knows what else, where we're now the official sunglasses of New York Roadrunners. So the New York Marathon, and some of the other events they run. As a D2C brand, you rarely get a chance to interact with the customer, and at these things, and have people pick the product up and say, wow, this is amazing. Whether it's Care Bears, where we sold something like 20,000 pairs of adult Care Bear glasses. I'm not sure if you're aware that there is a whole subculture of Care Bear influencers out there. At the same time, we were selling 420, so you judge, you bring your own conclusions. But it's first and foremost, it's the people in the team.
Good afternoon. So you mentioned about influencer marketing, and I caught that little nugget that you threw down. And so I have a question. At a time where so many people are doubling down on investing in having that secondary and third-party kind of validation, why did you all choose not to go that route? And is that something that you do across the business, or is it just during certain times of the year? Can you expand on that?
So, I mean, first of all, when you talk about different times of the year, you can imagine first of all, our holiday is summer. And we are a bell curve of seasonality, but we chose that honestly, and I don't want it to sound the wrong way, but we didn't need it because the organic momentum was there. I've got other brands that we've dealt with where you really needed to get the ball rolling, but if you go to our website and you see a variety of celebrities wearing them, we didn't feel like it was necessary, but it comes back to building quality product. The reviews are awesome. We didn't need to play games that so many brands do with reviews, or pay to get those placements. There are certain things we've done, like we launched the ski goggles brand, that really this is our first year of pushing it hard. And we are now the official goggles and sunglasses of the US ski and snowboard team. And they're amazing. The goggles are $85. They come with a magnetic lens, a free low light lens. You can buy them in Grateful Dead. You can get them in 4 NHL teams. People in Colorado can't get enough of the Avalanche ones. But at this point, we didn't need it. What we needed was just people to try it for the first time. So we invested the money in events and in-person ways that we have an Airstream trailer, we take it around the country, we sell out of the back of it, and that matters more than having an influencer that's paid to do it, is all we found.
Hi, you mentioned a kind of wide variety of different partnerships or activations that you go after, from NFL to 420 to Care Bears. How are you making those choices and identifying which moments you want to speak to, and what's kind of been your strategy behind choosing those partnerships?
So there's a big piece, which is, and there are a lot more we say no to than we say yes to. Some of the team is here that makes those decisions, which we have a small group. I think we look at, do we think it's right for the brand? Do we think it's right for our customer? Do we believe it can bring people in and then drive repeat rate into our standard frame styles? And then the other one is, are there time-based events that matter? One of the first deals we signed was the U.S. soccer team to have men's and women's World Cup glasses come out. And we did that, and we'll have glasses for the men's and women's soccer teams for the Paris Olympics, along with the men's and women's USA basketball. Bob Marley is the perfect example. We answered yes to everything. about the brand and the customer and will it bring people back. But the fact that there was a worldwide movie coming out and we have global rights gives us that put us over the top to say, let's go and let's have them in January. Let's release them in January in conjunction with releasing the movie. And we learned it last summer, like every other brand. We couldn't keep anything pink in stock. We had no relationship with Barbie the movie. We didn't, but it has gone, and it was our #1 seller in the month of January of all of our SKUs. So some of it's art, some of it's science.
Give these people a round of applause.